Oh, hi, didn't see you there. What am I doing, you ask? Well, anyone learning Korean is going to need a pen pal or two. So I keep in touch with my Korean friends using my cell phone. Now, there are a lot of good websites and apps that you can use to find pen pals, so I won't name any in particular. Whatever website or app you use, you're going to need to know at least a little bit of how Korean people send text messages. So today we'll talk about how Korean people send messages to each other in chat programs. 그럼 시작할까요? Just like LOL or BRB in English, there are many words in the Korean language that are specifically used when chatting. So let's get the most basic ones out of the way first. Here's one of the most basic words used in Korean for chatting. K. All it is the consonant KIAC written several times. This word is a representation of the sound that a Korean makes when they're laughing. Just like this. The KIAC consonant is usually written 3 or more times, and it's used in a similar way as LOL in English. But of course, not everyone laughs the same way. So for some people it's k, for others it's ki, kya, kya, ku, or even kyo. Oh, no one laughs like that. You can also use the consonant hia in the same way, and this would be like typing he in English, and can be used in place of the sound hu, hu, ha, he, or even ho. Okay, that's really bad. Totally racist. But there's more to chatting than just laughing, so let's cover a few shorthand words used in texting. First, here are 3 of the most commonly used shorthand words. The first one is short for 감사, as in 감사합니다, and means thank you. The second is short for 죄송, as in 죄송합니다, and means I'm sorry. And the third one is short for 응, which is just a casual way of saying yes or yeah. Note that using shorthand like this in Korean is only for casual conversation, so be careful not to accidentally send it to your teacher or your boss. And there are also other ways of writing things more quickly when chatting. First, 그냥 is a short way of writing 그냥, which means just. For example, 그냥 곰 인형이에요. It's just a teddy bear. Sorry. And you'll find a lot of words like this which are just shortened versions of other words. For example, 제일 is a shortened version of the word 제일, meaning most or the best. And 재밌다 is a shortened version of the verb 재미있다, meaning to be entertaining. So if you're not sure what a word means, try sounding it out more slowly and it might be a shortened word. And if you're still not sure, keep a dictionary handy just in case. Now, shortened words aren't the only thing that you'll find in texting. Just like English, Korean uses a lot of emoticons. And Korean emoticons, or smileys, work a bit differently than they do in English. In English, smileys are made to look like a face when you rotate them 90 degrees to the side. But in Korean, they're made to look like faces just by looking at them. It might be hard to tell which face it is just by looking at it for the first time, but after you practiced a little bit, you'll get used to recognizing them. The simplest emoticon in Korean is made with 2 power signs for the eyes and an underscore for the mouth, just like this. Other emoticons in Korean are often just variations on this same idea, using different characters for the eyes and the mouth to give it a different emotion. For example, if you want to be extra happy, just change the mouth to a capital O. Or if you want to make a sad face, use capital T's for eyes to make it look like it's crying. You can add other characters too, such as asterisks for blushing, a hyphen for winking, 2 @ symbols to show confusion, or a plus sign to show anger. Feel free to play around with different characters to change the emotion however you'd like. Finally, let's talk a bit about grammar when texting. When Koreans text, often spacing rules go out the window. Koreans often write their sentences without adding spaces in the right places. So some words and grammar forms will be bunched together when they're supposed to be spaced out. This can be both good and bad. It's good because it's much easier to write Korean without having to worry about proper spacing rules. But it's also bad because as a Korean learner, not seeing spaces can make it harder to read sentences. Also, if you plan on taking any Korean tests, you'll need to know proper spacing rules in order to write the essays. So it's just something to be aware of. And the same applies to typos. Now, this is probably the same with any language, but you will find a lot of typos when you're texting with Koreans. For example, one of the most common typos that you'll find is with the verb ida, to be. Ida normally conjugates to 이에요 after a consonant or 예요 after a vowel. But in texting, it's more often to see it misspelled as 에요 or even 이에요. But not everything that you find in texting is a mistake. There are also certain grammar forms that you'll find when texting, such as this one. This is a common verb ending when texting, and it's typically used by teenagers. To use it, take a verb stem, that's a verb with the da removed, and attach a mium if it ends in a vowel, or attach if it ends in a consonant. In normal Korean, you'll also find this form used as a kind of shorthand for writing notes, such as the notes section in a student's report. But in texting, it's used as slang. Note that if you use this form when texting, it'll make you sound like an immature teenager. But if you're already an immature teenager, don't let me stop you. Another commonly used verb ending is the consonant ing. Sometimes when a sentence ends in a vowel, Koreans will attach an ing to the very last syllable to make it sound a bit more cute. This is typically just used by young Korean girls. For example, instead of writing 배고파요, you could write 배고파용, bling bling. You can't use this though if the sentence ends in a consonant. And because you might see these forms used by others, even if you don't use them yourself, I've included them in this video. Now there are a lot more shortened words, emoticons, and grammar forms that are used in texting, but I've only covered some of the most common ones here. If you want to learn more, I'd highly recommend that you find a Korean pen pal and practice for yourself. And that's the end of this episode. Feel free to send me your own questions and I might make a video response about them. And remember that new videos are uploaded here every week, so click subscribe and follow along. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. First of all, learning Korean can be kind of difficult. The US government. And if you do write a person's name in red, it means that you hope that they'll die soon. So the last name goes first and the first name goes last, so it's opposite from English.